Hi, it's Dan again with D&D Thorough Home Inspections, and today this video is going to serve as part 2 to last week's video on service grounding. Last week we talked a little bit about grounding rods, and this week's video we're going to talk about the other 3 common ways of service grounding. One of them being water lines, another being OOFers, and then the third being well casings. So we'll start off with the water lines first. Now, current practice states that the GEC, that service grounding wire, should be tied in within 5 feet of that water line entering the house and then on the street side of the water meter. This house so happens to be about 15 feet back. It's tied in right up here, and I'll show you that here in a minute. But the reason they want it on the street side of that water meter is because a lot of the times those are made up of plastic, and if it's grounded like it is here and you got a water meter over there that's plastic, it's going to break that current and won't actually be in contact with the earth. Typically your water lines are well over 10 feet in buried earth, and that's kind of the established standard, is that 10 feet number. So I'll show you here. Take this off. So behind me, you've got the service panel, and you see those 2 copper strand wires going up there. See if you can zoom in. You see they kind of split off there. One actually goes outside to a grounding rod, and the other one, if you can follow it up, comes over, then back down right here. And that style clamp is called a Weaver clamp. That's actually an approved clamp for the GEC. So everything looks right here except for the fact that that grounding wire, that GEC, is tied in about 15 feet back over there. So, and I'll show you a picture of the main line coming in here. Right there is the main line. There's actually not a water meter within 5 feet of this main line coming into the house, but that's the main line. And again, that GEC should be tied in within 5 feet of that water line entering the house. Now, the next method I'll talk about is OOFer grounding. Now, it's not really common in our area. It's more for mountainous areas or areas with really hard ground. But what an OOFer ground is a service grounding method that is encased in concrete. Basically, the requirements for that are you have to have at least 20 feet of rebar or size 4 copper wire. And that GEC is just going to run to those and tie into either that rebar or that copper wire. So if you see a panel like this in the garage, what's behind it is probably your GEC going to the rebar. And if you look in this picture here, you just see the foundation with the rebar before the concrete is poured in it. Now, the last thing I'll talk about is well casings. And the reason well casings are able to be used as a grounding method is because they are within dozens and dozens of contact with the earth, providing a very reliable grounding source. And typically that GEC coming from the service panel is welded to that well casing, so it's not really going anywhere. So when it comes to checking the OOFers out and the well casings, there's really not a whole lot we can see because we can't see the whole well and we can't see the OOFer because it's buried in concrete. So as far as the OOFer goes, we'll pull off that little panel and make sure that GEC is connected with an appropriate clamp. Then the well casing, we just want to make sure that that wire is secured and it's not going anywhere. And that's really a quick rundown of the service grounding methods. So I hope you guys were able to learn something from this video, or at least enjoyed it. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned. Thanks. Have a great day.